Hey guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Yvette. It's our 2-year anniversary. So welcome to our
our
Faith
Faith
Home!
Hey, welcome to our Faith Home. Come in. Just imagine this place would be, packed with people. Then we're gonna be doing Bible studies, fellowship with our friends and family. So that's really what we had in mind.
Grabe, 2 years
I
na
know, I
tayo.
know. If you if you ask me, to be honest, I would have never expected that we already actually would own a home, our own home, this early on in our marriage. And it's like, wow, it's impossible, but God brought us here, right?
Yeah, in the time of a pandemic pa, biruin mo, when we were starting, we were just living in a small condo, one-bedroom condo. We loved it, but
We were content with it,
yeah,
right?
we were renting kasi at that time, never talaga namin in-imagine na makabili ng bahay.
Yeah.
Pero we desired it, lalo na kung part ka ng homebodies, grabe. If you see how people are building, beautifying their homes,
Yeah.
mapapaisip ka na, sana I have this spot also. Sana mas maluwag din yung kwarto natin and all
Yeah.
these things. Although, to be fair naman, even if it was a small place for us, for as long as my husband was there beside me, it already felt like a home. But di mo rin maaalis yung desire na, for the future, when we have kids, more importantly, pag pwede na ulit mag-invite ng mga tao, sana mas malaki yung space.
A place that you can really call your own. And whatever desire that is, we want to share some tips along the way. What helped us, and really how this impossible dream turned out to be a really faith-building exercise.
Yeah, so if nangyari yun sa amin, posible din tong mangyari sa inyo.
Yeah, and so this is our master's bedroom. We had it again, custom built. Kasi sabi sa Bible, keep the marriage bed pure. So, and this is, by the way, our TV, a gift from our spiritual family. Yeah, and we want to show you one amazing part of this room that we really love. So in the morning, when we wake up, this is where we spend time with the Lord. Yeah, and you have the lighting there. Tapos here, this is our quiet time spot, right? Our nook. So, what we learned was, at the very beginning pa lang talaga of your home search, you really have to go back to the why. Why do you desire to have a home? What is your purpose behind it? Kasi, to be honest, what's in it for you? Like, how do you envision your place to be? That's the purpose. So through the course of those 2 years,
We welcome people in our home. So that's where we did our ministry, our discipleship group. And little did we know that God would expand our groups. He would be preaching, I'll be serving, fixing the home, cleaning, washing the dishes, the works.
yeah, so we were able to manage to just jam-pack about 20 plus people in our tiny apartment just for Bible studies. And if you can imagine, it was nice. I mean, it was very intimate and in a close, borderline claustrophobic, but it was nice to have all the people gather
Everyone
around.
there.
And just to have those simple times of fellowship and discipleship with our spiritual family. For us, yun nga, we envisioned a place where we can have our discipleship, our spiritual family over.
Yeah, so it's really for fellowship, for ministry.
Yeah.
Kaya because of that purpose, ang hinanap talaga namin yung may malaking space. But like just a place for people to hang out and feel at home with us.
It's like, parang a place of refuge where you can spiritually connect with God and with others. So that was the purpose that we envisioned and we prayed to God for prayer.
The next one naman, after purpose, is prayer. Grabe, we cannot emphasize how important prayer is. It started with a prayer, we journeyed with it with prayer, and even up until this point, we are going through it with much prayer. Our marriage, in the last 2 years, it has always been anchored on this verse. Our marriage verse has always been Matthew 6:33, which says, Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. And so we came into our marriage without any concrete plans. It was always just about how can we seek God more? How can we seek His righteousness? And then everything else will be added unto us. The 2 years, God added that in our lives. And then the home, parang how it started, right? We just prayed like, Lord, if it's your will for us to find a home, then show it to us. Show where we would be living.
So we were like, okay, Lord, if it's your will, maybe let's look at a few houses.
Yeah, by faith.
Yeah, by faith.
By faith.
Yeah.
So we started looking. We saw like over 30 houses.
Yeah.
So nakakapagod siya, by the way. Pero it was fun kasi it was us envisioning, okay, is this the city where we're going to live? But so we checked out different cities, and one of our main considerations was, is this home accessible to our D group, to our disciples? Kasi that's the purpose of why we're buying this house, to invite our friends, to invite our family over. And is this place accessible for them? Kahit mura to or within our budget, if it's not accessible to people, then that defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
prayed some more. Every week we would pray and then meet different brokers.
Finally, when we were looking with this broker, after a day's worth of searching around in a particular subdivision, we were like, parang wala pa rin. Until this broker, he actually shared us this one home, which was at that time unfinished pa.
Yeah. When we went here, yung una kong na-notice, ang daming tao. Sobrang daming tao. And then we started looking around. We went second floor and then third floor. We went outside. And then it was Mike who said it first.
I had that, parang a silent prayer in your heart na, Lord, I pray that you'd lead us to the home that can really be also a place where people find a spiritual refuge. So it's like, it has to have a space that a lot of people can gather, and even like an open area, like a balcony or a backyard na, where you can just gather. And when we saw this place, even as raw and unfinished and construction works all over, there was just this sense na, okay, parang this is it. Parang ganun.
Yeah. Ako, for me, it was the people. Like, when I saw sobrang daming tao, this is what we wanted. To like, open our home to people. So, yeah, I think pwede. That's the first time we felt it na, wow, I think this is it. But it was beyond our budget. So,
Yeah.
when we asked for the price, we were like, oh, okay, it was beyond our budget. But then, because we prayed for it, we prayed again and asked God, Lord, if it's your will for us to stay in this home, na first time namin na feel na this is really the home where we want to live, can you confirm our next steps?
We were relying on Him day by day. We were fasting, and we were really seeking His will above ours. So I think, just the process really allowed us to be more intimate with the Lord also. So what we realized was that along with your purpose and your prayer is yung planning and preparation rin. Sobrang mahalaga nun. Kasi God still can lead you as long as you do your part.
And the first step we had to take was to submit documents to a bank to see if we will get approved.
Yeah. And so I remember it was like after the following week, we had to sort of rush our documents because we heard from the seller of the house that there was also another interested buyer. So we were like, oh no, we have to sort of rush this and sort of give the letter of intent and all of that. And so we were really praying to God na if this is really the home that you want for us, then we know that you'll make a way.
And then we're also open. Like if God says no, then that's a sign for us to also proceed to other houses. But after 1 week, we got our approval. As in, it was
Yeah.
so fast, we didn't expect it. So we got the approval from the bank. And so the next step is for us to talk to to meet with the seller now and or to discuss what the next arrangements are now that we have a bank approval. When we got the approval, within that same week, so we were like, okay, we got the approval from the bank. This is how much we need to pay the actual down payment. Iba pa
Yeah.
kasi yung reservation fee, iba pa yung down payment.
Yeah.
So the when we were checking our finances, we were around 60% in the down payment. So we need 40% more. And because we're both employees, we don't have any side business whatsoever. We know that money comes in at exact times of the month, right? 2 times a month. That's very determined. So we were like, okay, we only have 60% of what is needed. We need 40%. Where will we get this? From God. So we prayed again. I remember we were fasting. And then Mike was outside. Parang he was processing some documents and all that. So after praying and asking the Lord, for some reason, Mike went home. He went around the house in our condo. And
Yeah, so I got this sense na, hey, why don't I just look under our drawer in our bed and see if there's something here. So I checked it, and lo and behold, there was like this envelope of cash that apparently we had forgotten about. It's because, if we just track back, when we were still in courtship, when we were still dating and getting to know one another and preparing for our future life as husband and wife, we actually saved up for a wedding fund.
So every month we would put in a certain amount of money in the 2-year course of our relationship as boyfriend-girlfriend, thinking that we would use that money for our wedding. But we forgot about it kasi God provided for our wedding. So when we needed money for the house, Mike all of a sudden remembered that there's cash under our bed.
So I got it, and then, what is this? And then I showed it, hey, cash.
So from 60%, we went up to 90% away from the down payment. And so because 90% na siya, we computed our sweldo and okay, parang kaya na to, we can do this. On that same day, we got a call from the bank. So we were like, is this another confirmation from God? Because again, 90% away from down payment, if the loan is increased, mas kukunti yun. We have more, may extra pa, may sukli pa.
It just so happened, I can remember it so clearly. When we had that bank approval, the contractor also said na the other potential buyer already gave a check, a reservation fee. So we were like, oh man, naunahan kami. So we were like, so what do we do now, right? So
again, we prayed and asked the Lord, you gave this approval. If it's your will, you would lead us to the next step. So we met with the owner by faith, and then with our check in hand, reservation fee pa lang naman. And then when we met with him, I remember it was here, and he was like, oh, you know what? I just returned the check of the first interested buyer. So this makes you guys the first one. And we were so surprised. And he was like, guess what? He got an approval for a different house because the seller was selling multiple houses. So the interested buyer gave an offer for this house, but the approval was for a different house. So even if the reservation fee of the initial buyer was higher than our reservation fee, the owner had to return it kasi it wasn't the right process. And the owner, I remember the owner even said, parang will talaga ni God tong bahay na to sa inyo kasi it's so smooth for you guys. 1 week approval and then now I'm accepting your reservation fee. So we were both surprised.
Yeah. And when we reserved it, that was like one of the biggest, if I can call it, faith moments of our marriage. It's like, are we really doing this? Are we really gonna, buy a house? And, we really saturated it with prayer all along the journey. And
then we also asked him, is it okay if you give us 2 more weeks to complete the down payment? Because of course, the owner cannot proceed without the release of the bank's certification and all that. And he was like, okay, sure, I'll give you 2 weeks.
God just brings us towards these situations where He wants to build up our faith, not just in the things that He provides, but also the things that He withholds. So at the end of those prayerful 2 weeks that we were like, Lord, sana ma-approve tong higher loan para we've got it covered, right? We got the shock of our lives in that it wasn't approved.
Yeah, we got
So-
the call 2 weeks after.
So we had that same 10% na parang kulang. So medyo bitin. And we were like, so is this a setback, right? Is this like something from God na baka hindi na dapat ituloy or whatever, right? So we were having those doubts. So, when I personally remember those times, parang it's in those moments that you will really depend on God more. Kasi you don't have the answers Parang, yeah, you can fill up a loan, you can get approved, and it's all, based on your own planning, based on your own effort, di ba? Push mo yan, di ba?
Yeah, by faith
But
talaga.
this segment of our journey was really the faith-stretching one because we reserved the house already. We were trying to fill in the down payment by a higher loan, which was our own method, our own approach. And then, God was just guiding us through that and teaching us, I got you.
So we talked to the broker, and guess what? The broker gave us a discount. We did not even ask. He was like, sige na nga, ma'am, I'll help you.
Yeah.
So he gave us a discount. And not only that, the broker, which by the way, we will highly recommend, he was so helpful, called the owner and asked if the owner can give us extension.
Yeah.
Kasi we're both employees. There's no way we can get the sufficient amount of money in that limited time period without getting our salaries.
Yeah.
So the owner agreed. That was December. So
Yeah.
that was the 2 weeks, second week of December. The owner agreed, sige, in January na lang.
Yeah. And that delay, those 2 to 3 weeks delay, na we were hoping for that loan increase, which wasn't approved, was actually just enough for us to actually come up with the 10%. Why? Because that was December and we got our Christmas bonuses. And we were like, oh, we forgot about that. We didn't include that in the equation. But God just provided, like, for the last 10% through our bonuses and through also the help of our generous family. So grabe, like in a span of 3 weeks,
God provided.
Yeah, God provided.
So when we gave over the manager's check to the seller, kahit kami parang, hindi namin to afford. We did not expect to buy a house this year, but this money shows you how faithful our God is.
Yeah, and I remember we were here in the dining living area, and we just made it a point na we wanted to share like what God had done throughout that journey. So we ended up, I shared the gospel with the contractor, and even the broker was there. We prayed for them, and we really just saw how God moved in our midst while, we were searching for a home. And it reminded me that, God is faithful to His people. And so what we realized is yung providence ni God. Meaning nun na He's in control of absolutely everything in our lives. Kahit na yung mga minute details na grabe, He alone could have orchestrated this. As we prayed, as we prepared, as we had our purpose in mind, talagang God's providence just paved the way for us to step, each little step by faith, okay? And then, the Lord just led us here, and He also provided along the way. So that's what we learned, na at the end of the day, you can plan to live here in a certain house for a certain budget and all of that, but if God wants you to be there, He'll allow you to be there.
We knew that this home will not just be our dream house, our dream home. It's not it. It's really our faith home.
Yeah.
Because everything was done by faith.
That's it. Thanks for visiting our faith home today, and we'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye!